Hey, this is Scott Condit.
And Jeremy Trimp.
We are the directors of Max, Reload, and the Nether Blasters, and you are listening to the director's commentary.
Ooh, it sounds good already.
Man.
I'd watch it. You like those sweet CG crows?
Yeah. Inspiration for this scene, man.
Dude, can you guys imagine that all the stone walls he's walking around, that is all styrofoam?
Styrofoam and stucco, yeah.
Just carved relentlessly by our incredible art team.
Yeah, production design killed it. We had to make sure our actor Jay there kept that torch away from the wall so they didn't melt.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this was I like to call this in the new Superman flick, when they start off on his homeworld. Like that's our, this is our I don't know, kind of high budget, if you will, something that's completely outside of the realm of what you're gonna see in the film, that we wanted to set up the story.
Very Indiana Jones, very early indie.
Yeah, and that
inspired.
That fire in the background, totally fake.
Yeah, our friends at Action VFX supplied tons of fire assets for us.
Originally, we called him the Suited Man. I think we ended up changing that to the Harbinger in the film.
Because he wore a suit most of the time.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of our
scripts,
internal, name for the character. Kind of a trickster that's been around since the dawn of time, testing humanity with games.
Challenging them. And there's like a cosmic game of chess that they play for the fate of this lost city in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Turn down the movie mix a little bit. Can you turn down the movie mix a little bit? This was such a cool scene, the way it came together. I mean, on the page you write the basic moves and that they're playing this, celestial game of chess, but the fact that our VFX team worked kind of a game mechanic in to show what was happening on screen was really cool.
And, I mean, we weren't shaking the camera here. This is all complete post, awesome VFX.
Who are those guys?
Oof. And on the page it says, the pyramid explodes and sand rushes towards camera and you see the logo of the film.
When you write that stuff, you think, we'll figure it out later.
Uh-huh. And then your VFX people go, How
are you planning on doing this?
Okay. Originally, we were going to do a model. Remember
Miniatures,
that? We're going to blow up a model, and that just, that didn't happen. Dude, this whole, this is a completely fabricated game, using it's just essentially models, right? And we just had models, and then Scott and I used Funko Pop figurines to kind of play out the scene. We filmed it with a cell phone, sent that over to the boys at Terrasect.
Terrasect Games, yeah.
And they basically created a fake game.
Yeah, it was kind of like using, game developers as animators.
Mm-hmm.
To animate this whole companion piece to this. And as they were doing it, man, they were joking like, hey, let's make this into an actual game. We're
right.
Like, have at it.
Right.
Little tribute coming up to a famous trope, a famous gamer trope here.
Mm-hmm.
Jenkins.
Little World of Warcraft throwback from early 2000s.
That's right. And this really sets up Max, man, his character and his avatar and his personal character of being brash and going headfirst into stuff.
Yep, trying to tell everyone, I know best, and clearly not knowing best.
Not being a team player, man.
Yeah. This is actually the first scene we ever shot, too. Day one. Well, besides Egypt, right? But as far as principal photography, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first scene.
With all the stars, all the kids on set, man, killing it.
Yep.
First time you see Fallout games, we talked about that as being kind of their clubhouse, kind of like little tip of the hat to Clerks and movies like Empire Records. And
This game sequence was pretty fun. This was the first time that I ever like camera choreographed a camera scene that I didn't, that you can't physically shoot. So it was kind of fun to be able to do any shot you wanted and translate that to, to a computer artist person who's manipulating a fake camera. It was pretty fun. Ah, brash young Max. How foolish.
Dude, and Jeremy and I are both gamers ourselves, and when we wrote this scene, it's like personal experience, man. We've all been that player, and we've all played with that player, right?
Yep. Ah, Greg Grunberg.
Yes, the famous baritone.
If you've ever played an MMO, people spawn camping all the time.
Just getting ready to jack your loot, man.
Yeah, dude, this guy's the embodiment of that.
Dude, Tom totally sounds like, it's been called out by so many people too, Jason Lee. These dudes killed me, man. Playing like a rock band.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Reggie, the best friend who's always there.
Dude, the Samwise.
Yeah, the Samwise of the group, and Liz is
always there to support.
always there to jab him and
Cut
keep
through
him
the
in
BS.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Liz is great.
Mystery, intrigue.
Little skull in the image there.
Mm-hmm. Ah, Chuck.
This upcoming scene too, inspirations for it, man, throwing back to the 80s retro films, very Ferris Bueller-y, very,
Yep.
Suiting up late for class montage scene.
Jesse Mitchell, our composer, did such an awesome job on a lot of these tracks, especially this one. Really nailed it. Good, right on the theme that we wanted.
The heart and soul of it, man, it carries it. Just love it.
Martin Coe.
Oh,
Actually, what's interesting about this scene? We shot this in the middle of the night, and you would never guess that.
Yeah.
We had an awesome, great team.
Yeah, lighting wizards, man.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I mean, fun fact, nearly this entire film was shot overnight.
Yeah. Dude, 30 days a night.
Besides,
takes on a whole new meaning.
Besides Egypt, every single scene was shot overnight. That's what happens when you make an indie film and you can't shut businesses down, so you gotta shoot when they're closed.
Shoot when they're closed. Dude, I love Martin's character here, Gramps. I mean, he's just kind of a, an amalgamation of all of his iconic military badass kind of heroes, but he's grandpa riding the armchair now, drinking vodka out of a squirt gun.
Clearly has, great love for Max.
Huge heart, yeah.
Wants to see him succeed, but he's also, a little hard on him. And
now that's a game I'm dying for us
Dude,
to really release on mobile.
The epitome of Scott Knight's sense of humor right here.
Yeah. Poop and fart jokes are pretty much king for us. Dude, what I love about this scene is like how much heart there is in it. It's just, it really sets up the stakes for Max. Yeah. Lays out his character arc a little bit, but the way that Marty and him interplay here is,
Yep.
you buy it.
But what happened to
Yeah.
young Max's parents?
Yeah, that was one of those things we had also realized in a lot of films that we loved growing up, like The Last Starfighter, and a lot of 80s movies had like the parents that were tragically lost. But we never touched back on it.
Right.
And maybe in the sequel.
Right. We had to get a GT dyno in this film.
That's a bike we grew up with,
That's
man.
the bike we grew up with, so
we were
this
talking
was how we
about
did it.
Dude, and whose bike is that?
That was Jesse Mitchell's, our composer.
Our composer.
I literally had that same exact bike when I was a kid.
I was wanted one. My best friend had one.
Oh, well, not to cut you off.
Dude.
This is the first time you see, a very bold choice. I would say we deliberated over this. I had a lot of heartburn. Like, is this gonna work? We wanted to do some kind of interesting transitions that were more, our 16-bit pixel art.
Cutscenes, like from old NES games. Like that looked like Paperboy. That was one of the inspirations.
Yeah. I think it works well.
One of the things that in early screens people love the most. Dude, the trio here. The bullies around the block, giving Max crap.
These are the rich tech school kids who have their own esports team. Look at those sweet jerseys from MetaThreads. They created all the jerseys for the film. Such really, really, really cool designs.
Yeah, dude, we had so many amazing brands in the gaming industry when we told them about this film.
Yeah.
Jump on board and provide product and customize product for us. Max is mostly wearing Jinx throughout this film, so are his buddies. Collaborative.
The old love.
Ooh, the first penis joke.
We laughed way too hard at this.
It still makes us giggle.
Believe it or not, it's really hard to do that throw with just 3 shirts and get it proper. Because we shot the shot as he walks in the store before we shot this shot. So we had to match as close as possible the Slurpee on his shirt. And we only had 3 shots at it.
Yeah, it's funny. The little things become some of the biggest things on set that you don't think about.
Yep.
I love this reveal.
That's actually our
production designer and her son.
Yeah.
Bodhi, yeah.
Yep.
Ah, the concerned parent. We all had those.
Jinx.
Dude.
Such a great brand. Great shirts, great clothes.
This scene here, we reveal our man here in just a second, how that all came together. Like, still watching it now, can't believe it.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, man. He's a amazing dude. Lives up to the hype, as it were.
Yeah, true blue.
Easter egg. IOI. Or is it just a record button? Security tech.
Yeah.
I wonder where that's from.
Little tip of the hat to our buddy, Mr. Ernest Klein. If you guys are fans of Ready Player One. Ernie, actually, we met him at a book signing of his, sent him a short film we did with Martin Cove about arcades and getting sucked into video games years ago. And he gave us, generously gave us some script notes and feedback early on during the development of this film.
We had Kevin for a very limited amount of time, and he was just so incredibly gracious with his time. And he had such a blast with us, and likewise with him. And man, we knocked it out of the park and just got it all done on that time limit.
Beyond a dream come true, man. Like, growing up watching all of his films, obsessing over, Smodcasts and everything else. And then the weird way that came together. Not time to go into it in full detail here. Yep. That's for some of the blogs, but there he is in our flick, man. Killing it as Chuck.
A lot of this is to ad-libs, too. He put a lot of his own, character into this character, which is exactly what we wanted. Yeah. So we wrote the character around Kevin Smith.
With him in mind, yeah.
Knowing that he would also, bring his own
flair.
Yeah. A lot of the posters you see in the background are actual like games from like game jams from a lot of our friends who are game developers and or games that are on Steam from them.
Yeah, supporting the local community, man, was huge for us. Like, whenever possible,
Mm-hmm.
slipping little nods to them in here. Another poop joke.
Oof.
Nailed it.
Steve, the legendary Jesse Cove.
Dude, one of the brightest rising stars in Hollywood. And fun fact, look at that sweet freaking beard he's wearing there. What happened there, Jeremy?
So, day before shooting the scene, Jesse had an audition. Can't fault him. He's like, hey, I shaved my beard.
Is that going to be okay?
Is that going to be okay? And we're like, well, since we already shot some with you having a beard, let's figure this out. So he went and got a fake beard for this day.
And it did,
I don't think you noticed until we just called that out.
Yeah.
But that is.
Yeah. Hopefully you're watching the director's commentary after you've watched the film a few times. Dude, this was one of Kevin's rants that just killed me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, interestingly enough, too, is this scene was filmed at Greg Grunberg's studio in L.A.
Yeah.
So we just had to make it look like this would have been an office at Fallout Games, but there is no office Fallout Games. There's basically what you see, big old room and a bathroom. So we had to, make, and I think, the color scheme and the palette and all the stuff, the set dressing really made it tie in.
Dude, it was funny. The blue on the walls there, the paint Jen, our production designer, pointed out, was almost the same paint color they had at Fallout in the back area. So it's like it gelled. But yeah, our star and fellow producer Greg came through, man, and said, yeah, turn that section into a set. Go for it. And him and Kevin had done that show Geeking Out together. So
Yep.
their rapport is just awesome. They're good buddies. Made the whole experience fun. Joey. Half those toys back there are ours or our producing partner, Jesse Lobel.
Yeah. Or Ben Reichert.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're big dorks, big kids. It's the only way to be. Funny enough, we filmed this. It was a week before Kevin had a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
And went on a major vegan kick. Man, he's looking awesome, looking fit as hell. And so he made, he was notorious for making self-deprecating jokes about his weight and such. And this is actually the last film with getting in super fit shape Kevin.
The old suiting up montage.
Dude, Iron Man inspired, right?
Yeah.
He's going into the grid.
Yeah, we saw that effect, really Iron Man is where that effect was, and we like, hey man, we need Kevin in VR, so we shot him on a black screen, and then we had our VFX guy kind of track his head motion and add the overlays and
dude, VFX guru Paul Denigris with Foxtrot X-Ray just killing it, and he's a huge sci-fi geek like us, so every reference we gave him, he's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and just nailed that. One of my favorite lines. The inmates have run of the prison.
If you notice, a lot of their what they're wearing, their computers, their headsets, their color palettes, we tried to give them all their own kind of video game character-esque styles, so that they could, you could really stand out and understand, who they were.
Yeah.
And their personalities. If you'll notice, Liz's computer keeps blinking. It's because there's no processor in it. So it's just a shell with a power supply. And so it just essentially just kept rebooting on a loop.
Movie magic. Now this scene.
Dude, this voice.
our man Will Wheaton.
Dude.
Holy cow, man. Getting him last minute, too, because he narrated Ready Player One and
dude,
Armada. And
so many amazing books I've listened to.
well, grown up watching him in
yeah.
films like Stand By Me and, of course, Star Trek, right? Next Generation. Greg Grunberg had reached out to him when he was at the Phoenix Comic-Con. And we're like, oh, my God, Will's here? And he's like, yeah, he's a friend. I know him. We were like, dude, could you just run this by him and see if he might be up to doing some VO? And he jumped right on board.
Yeah, and young Eugene right there, that is literally Greg Grunberg's son.
Jake
Grunberg, man.
Killing
He did such a good job, and it was so cool to see them get to work together on a film. I mean, making a young Eugene...
Oh, he's a natural,
it's
dude.
Just like, and, oh man, it was just, you couldn't have asked for better.
Yeah, because so often you're trying to cast someone who might look like that person when they were younger, and, no. We got Greg's actual progeny in the film.
We're huge fans of ping pong, so we had to throw a ping pong scene in there.
Yeah, Killer Spin. That's
yeah.
right. So this whole sequence, important to note, our good buddy, freaking famous, badass music video director and filmmaker himself, Dan Fusselman, we gave him the director's chair for the day.
Yep, we let him direct this this little segment right here, and we shot this. Tried to shoot it, like news style with with a different lens. The film was shot anamorphic, and we shot that obviously not anamorphic, and tried to get it, feel a little more like an older scene.
And, it was our way, too, in the script, thinking, like, how do we build the world that spans, obviously goes back to ancient times in Egypt, but the real personal story of Eugene, how do we encompass his journey up to the point we actually meet him in the film quickly? We're like, well, the cool way, maybe we can do it as an old school news excerpt and have it be its own little self-contained vignette in the film. And, dude, Charlie Talbert. Yeah. A gem of a human being, and one of the best comedic actors ever.
Dude, I love him.
Just kills it.
Awesome box art.
We got those around the studio now, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Dude, to have the blessing of ColecoVision on this film as well, that was so cool too. We actually originally wrote as Atari, but we started thinking, we were like, there's no way we're going to get that IP.
We thought we were going to have to make up a fictitious game console.
It's right, hey, what's the second, what's our second favorite, and, almost even more iconic because of its, it's a little more rare, right? It wasn't as mainstream. I think ColecoVision was the perfect fit for this film.
Yeah, our buddy John Lester helped bridge that connection. He knew the current owner of the brand, and they were so supportive, man.
Yeah. Max is such a conspiracy theorist on this. I love it.
Yeah, he's so deep into it. It was important to be like, he geeks out over it,
That's his hero right there.
Yeah.
It's part of this was the whole ET in the landfill. They wanted to bury every copy because it was terrible. There's a lot of different. The Polybius game where if you played it you went crazy. There was a lot of different inspirations that we drew on to
ancient arcade lore. Yeah.
Another dungeon.
Yeah. This bit of music here, I love it, dude. Because Jesse Mitchell's, we were like, something, goofy, again, more 80s inspired,
Yeah, and Tom actually did that on, there was no music playing, and so the music that Jesse wrote, was based upon, I gotta stop it. This is hilarious. we wanted to make your dirty minds think this is something that it's not.
A little mislead, if you will, yeah.
And so you're gonna go, that's gross, and then all of a sudden we go, no, you're gross.
Yeah. Shame on you.
Chuck is just a nice man.
Wholesome. He's in his Zen garden making pottery, man. And the quick ominous tone shift here, man. I love this.
Yeah, the inciting incident right here. The suited man.
He's like, don't leave your junk on my counter. That Atari Jaguar back in the background was purposely set. Dude, I had one growing up. Loved and hated it in equal measure. Oh, the game reveal.
Dude, talk about VFX wizardry. We originally had we had a cart made with a different artwork on it.
Different label, yeah.
Oh, this right here.
Oh, little Silent Bob homage right there. Yeah, different label though.
Yeah, and then VFX Wizard, Paul Denigris, Foxtrot X-Ray replaced all the labels when you see them, and it is indistinguishable.
Yeah, that's some amazing motion tracking.
Yeah.
Dude, again, these cutscene transitions, just amazing.
You know, it's like from a production standpoint, as producers, you know, if we didn't do these are production days that cost lots of money.
Yeah.
Right. Like filming those transitions. So it was a decision on multiple levels.
Both creative, both logistical. Yeah. It was. At the end of the day, man, I can't imagine the film without those now.
Yeah. I think didn't he ad-lib that line, or did we write that in? I can't remember.
You wrote that in.
I was gonna say I think we deliberated on like what to say. Yeah, we were just thinking about weird things that someone would say.
It's one of those that makes you think like, what would a pig in hell sound like?
I love the juxtaposition of he's got this nice flat screen and he's just like just throws everything off and puts on this crappy old CRT TV. Which I don't know. Yeah, is it a CRT back then?
Yeah, to
Still
play
tubes. Yeah.
To play this priceless game to him, it means so much. He's like, clear the room.
Yep.
And this is what for me and you, we grew up with those TVs and that resolution and that
seeing it flicker like
warming
that,
up of tubes and man, his room has a little piece of us.
Yep.
In that design. Now this game and this team that helped bring this together, this was a amazing team of developers that actually had a homebrew ColecoVision playable game, Dungeon Crawler, and they retrofit the entire game and reskinned it with our direction and assets to make their playable game into a playable game of version of Nether Dungeon.
Insane.
And they did it to be a part of this project and for the passion of the community and for
that was late in the edit too. Like we were, when Max is doing this, he's just looking at a blank screen, and we didn't have a playable game, so that was some heartburn right there, trying to figure out exactly what we were gonna do and to find the perfect Nether Dungeon game.
Dude, yeah, Arturo Ragazzini and his entire team just came together, and they made the assets here that you're seeing on this dungeon crawler that's in traditional Coleco, 8-bit style, if you will. But then we wanted to show this game as next level and kind of more looking like it unlocked the full potential of the game when it was made, that we grew up kind of with the 8-bit, 16-bit kind of aesthetic. And you'll see that coming up next when Max gets to the final level.
Yep.
And the same team developed those assets that our buddy Dan Fusselman animated for us.
Fun fact, anytime you see his hands, that's my hands.
Dude, hand model. What's up? Do you have that on IMDb as part of your credits?
I need to. So this is when we really wanted to make the game next gen, and had, again, Dan Fusselman created this, this fake scene right here.
Yeah.
But it's like,
all those assets, and it's very, like Double Dragon-y kind of.
But again, we're talking about a game from early 80s, so it's like there's not a lot to it. And you'll see pretty quick here, Max is just kind of like, what?
Yeah. Side-scroller, kind of Castlevania-ish,
And, I mean, these old games, you beat them, and that was it. It was just like, cool, here's this text screen, and the game's over. Done.
Roll credits.
And he's just kind of like, okay, well. And he's sitting here streaming this all on, I can't remember what it wasn't Twitch. It was some glitch. Yeah.
Yeah, and that epiphany there where it's, his ego takes over and he's like, oh, got to be the first to upload in this generation of being selfies and firsts and everything else.
He just magically plugs that in super quick. He's got a dongle that's just perfectly crafted.
Dude, how much did we agonize over so many of those things? Because we're geeks and we know tech and we know interfacing. But there's a lot of times when you're making a movie, you have to just go, it's a movie.
Yeah. Suspend the disbelief. And the Dr. Claw
gadget.
Yup.
We actually ripped some of Tom Plumley's Facebook photos for Max's Facebook photos on those screens. We told him afterwards. He's like, oh, okay. Approved. You see that Show No Mercy poster up above Max's desk there?
Short film. Check it out on YouTube. Wasn't that the scene where Tom fell running into the room with the...
Yeah.
He ate it. Maybe we'll put it in the BTS.
He slipped. He had socks on and went freaking...
He was fine, though. So that's why it was funny.
He was great. He felt like a champ.
That was not a stunt, if SAG's listening.
Tom's listening right now going, why did they have to talk about that? Look at that Power Glove lamp, dude. Holding the Duck Hunt light gun.
One Up Forge.
One Up Forge, our buddy over there.
Man, Max is just always late to work.
Yeah, he's not punctual at all. Fun fact, that was the first time Kevin said he'd ever been suited up in a full VR rig like that. Right.
Always the skeptic, Liz.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of like the devil's advocate. We all have that in ourselves. And
keeping everyone in check, yeah. Keeping our boys in check.
Reggie's always willing to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yep. Now we have some fun cameos coming up here in a second. And we drank from our own stream here. We used friends as much as possible who helped make this film possible in the film itself. Such an elitist.
This is their clubhouse. They get paid to just... There's like never anyone coming into, and they just screwing around and
playing games.
Yeah, even when they're not on, working, they're always hanging out at the game store.
Just talking crap. Right there.
Jesse Lobel, one of our producers on this film.
One of our producers and one of the biggest gaming geeks. Super fan.
In the film, or in the script, it just says Goth Gamer basically just talking crap about Nether Dungeon. And so he put on the whole 9 yards.
Dude, he sent this to us. He's like, is this good? We're like, perfect, dude.
We were dying.
Some of our Kickstarter supporters right here in the film.
Look at that badass Ingram gaming rig right there.
That's right.
Dude.
That's our old studio there, too.
Our old studio. Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron is kind of a badass.
Yeah, he's a big time in the gaming industry. He's worked on huge titles. Call of Duty, the Zombies, one of the more recent ones.
World of Warcraft.
Yep. Huge story guy. Actually, he wrote a great book, too.
Yeah. Heck of a storyteller.
Wanted to create kind of that red, ominous atmosphere in the background that also kind of matches with their intentions and their wardrobe. We actually filmed this at a tech school, and they're supposed to be at the tech school, so that worked out pretty well. Lucas is so good.
Dude, he just... perfect. And he's the sweetest guy in real life.
Sweetest guy.
Hilarious. Just generous with his time and energy, and plays the biggest prick.
Yeah.
It's a good actor. That's what that is.
The scene. Love the scene.
So not the virus, but the Nether essentially has just been unlocked because Max has unleashed it on so many people. It's reached this critical mass.
Right. And if you're wondering, the reason why Max never got it is because he'd never died in the game.
Yeah, he beat it in one sitting.
Yep. So if you ever die in the game, that's when you become nethered. That's how you can become nethered. Dude, those red eyes, that took quite a bit of revisions to try to get it natural and get
Just
it
the
right.
right look,
It's tough, man. It's
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, Paul killed it, man. He put up with all of our requests and revisions.
Blasters of the universe.
Yeah, another game company that we met up with at one of the E3s or PAXs that we went to and told them about the film. And
super rad game.
yeah, and they donated assets to the production. Boom, the first blaster shot in the Nether blasters right there.
Yes.
And the first reveal of Eugene Wilder in current day.
In the script, it just says another Spectre is blown out of Reggie's back. That's a tall order.
Yeah.
With a very small budget. So
the man himself right here.
Galactag helmet by Ryan Flowers. Super rad.
Gregory Grunberg. Dude,
the first time he sent us a photo of his face with his little goofy mustache, and he's like, guys, and he grew his hair out a little bit, and the Snap Wexley hair, and he's just like, what do you guys think?
This is the look,
and we're
isn't
like,
it?
dude, yes.
Nailed it.
You see a lot of quasars in this film, quasar science. They make amazing LED tubes.
Yeah, those tube lights
Oh, dude, they were super generous and helped us out
Oh.
big time with our film.
It would not look the same without them.
Mm-mm. Blasters.
And being a true creature of habit, you'll notice that his wardrobe is the same as we saw young Eugene in at the end of the news segment. He hasn't changed, and that's kind of the motif of Eugene's character.
Of course. That was a nice ad lib. We were like, wait a minute, what? Oh,
Yeah.
that works.
Liz, nobody's shitting blood.
Dude, these upcoming scenes, amazing.
Yeah.
Another medium of artwork we used to tell stories in this.
That was one of the biggest accomplishments. Every film's a collaborative effort, but how many different artists we were able to bring in and direct and
styles.
collaborate with, and styles. And a big one for us growing up, man, Saturday morning cartoons.
That kind of the old G.I. Joe kind of animation.
Yep. And we mentioned him a few times so far, our buddy Dan Fusselman, who had helped out with the 80s flashback scene, led the animation team on these animation sequences, and the whole team just amazing, man.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, because it's like, how do you tell a story with very, small budget, but telling a story of a past, a pretty big event that happened. That can be really challenging to do with a budget, and so doing it animated, you can do whatever you want, wherever you want.
Yeah, and stylistically, like visually, it can be so exaggerated, so ridiculous and wild, but still comes with its own production requirements, time, and well worth it though, man.
Yeah.
And keeping the Harbinger as mysterious as possible was so critical, and showing him only a few times before the end of the film in real life. Most of it's all animation, so it kind of lends to like this larger than life character.
Yeah, we want him to be very ominous and kind of ever present, but not seen.
Supernatural.
Yeah. Very much the guy behind the curtains or the puppet master.
Pull the strings.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, admittedly, I think it's important to note, too, if we have any other, storytellers or just fans or filmmakers, part of the beauty of writing Max Reload together was going into it, we said, okay, what is one of the staples of the films that we love that we hope this can fall in leagues with? And part of it was that absurd, ridiculous, asking our audience, just take a leap of faith with us. This is going to be convoluted and silly. And There's going to be holes like a block of Swiss cheese. Just go with us.
Right. And I don't think the film doesn't take itself that seriously. So I think,
right.
That's a good thing.
We're not doing a historical docudrama, right?
Yeah.
That was a little tip of the hat to Evil Dead there. Ancient Sumerian.
It's funny. This scene is kind of like what birthed this film. Scott and I were driving back from L.A. And I had read this article that was talking about the Doom game, and they were, saying, how the developers had, if you ran it through, like, I think it's a spectrograph or spectrometer or whatever, the song, the waveforms in the song write like 666 devil or something goofy like that.
They visualize like pentagrams. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what if you played that game and listened to that song and it actually affected you and you didn't know it?
Like a subliminal message, like a Manchurian Candidate kind
of thing. And so that kind of birthed the idea of Max Reload, where there might be a game with Sumerian code and, and it can unleash a great evil.
Dude, it's those little seeds, man.
Mm-hmm.
Road trips
mm-hmm.
are the best foundation for those moments.
Yep, Eugene's great plan was to destroy all the copies, a la E.T.
Yep, and burn down his entire business.
Uh-huh. And it worked for quite some time.
Yeah, a couple decades. And the hope is that our audience sees this animation flashback through Eugene's perspective, the 80s news footage, and other flashbacks in the scene, and kind of sees a thread of truth between all of them, right?
Right.
They're all subjective from that person's retelling, but...
And right here, you kind of see where Greg is a little bit salty still, that, he fancies himself. He's the hero, right? He saved the day. He stopped this all. And to let Max, take the mantle is challenging for him. So he doesn't want to, he's been watching, gamers, and he's been watching especially Max throughout a long time in these games.
Yep.
And so it's hard for him to swallow the pill that, there's a young dog coming up that just might be important in the story.
They're very much alike in that way, aren't they?
Very much alike. Dude, these blasters, super cool. We went to actually Fallout, and we just looked at the coolest old blasters. I think that might have been like a PlayStation blaster, I believe.
That was one, I think, for PlayStation or Sega for Time Cop.
Yeah, something like that. And then we sent them off to our buddy Shane, and we said, hey, man, can you make these into some cool blasters? And he actually put batteries in them and lenses and lights and LEDs. He makes lightsabers.
Lightsabers, yeah.
Yeah, Dark Side Engineering, I think, is his company name.
Yeah.
But, so they all actually, you pull the trigger and it fires LED light through the front, which actually helped our VFX team create the flares and the projectiles.
Coming soon to a merchandising store near you.
Mobile, we wanted to take this from 80s ColecoVision, to consoles, to PCs,
cartridges,
to the people who just play Flappy Bird and, all these other goofy games on their phones.
And the Nether, the whole idea, right, of it being an evolving entity that utilizes gaming to control and best and beat humanity, is how could it infect the most people the quickest? Well, going mobile.
Yep.
Joey kills me, dude.
The snack guy. Again, he doesn't want to have any help. He thinks he can do it alone.
That sword originally in the script had, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, a much bigger
role.
Yeah,
it did. And then we were like, oh, stunts cost a lot of money. Maybe we got to pare back.
Let's cut those 8 pages. And he uses the sword once in a non-fighting capacity.
And it fails. That way we can just get it out of the movie.
And it's the coolest prop in the world.
Cool. Oh, what's this right here?
Hey,
there's Scott and Jeremy.
Look at us. That's our big moment, man. I'm still waiting for casting agents to take notice and give us a call.
Yes,
dude. That stash, I vote that you wear that constantly.
We had to put ourselves in this movie. We're that vain.
Yep. Needed that screen credit.
Max and Liz headed back to the house. What ever
Ooh, yeah.
will they find?
Fun fact, too, coming out of this transition, you're going to see them riding up to the house here. And that is our stunt doubles, Josh and Kyla.
Yep.
Josh is a pro BMX badass himself.
Poor Hassie. She was not feeling super well this night, but she was such a trooper that you couldn't even know.
Yeah, she got like super flu
Dude,
that week.
we shot this in January overnight in Arizona, which is not that bad, except that it was like 30 degrees every night.
Coldest winter on record in 60 years.
And we had, that's cold season, flu season, and we've got our crew freezing all night. That was a struggle.
She kicked butt though, man. Soldiered through. Oh, just got personal.
Dude, I love this scene.
Dude, working with legendary actors who are like freaking pros for decades, like Marty, this was our first feature film, and for us, we're like, just act like a zombie. He's like, well, okay, but
which kind of zombie?
What kind of zombie? What am I thinking in my limited capacity? Like, he went deep, and we're like, we learned real quickly just having
little nerd reference right
answers.
Here. If you ever played Xbox. I love that line, dude. I used to. Oh man, we used to fix red ring Xboxes all the time.
Dude, you ever mod any? I mean, not that we would. I'm just saying that.
I had a friend mod my
I heard
original
about
Xbox.
mod chips. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, this is funny. This is a total break from reality, but
little speed bump.
So ridiculous.
Twerking it out. I love how during this entire exchange, Liz never puts down her steak and fries.
That's the other funny thing is, having when your actors can trust you. Like, okay, so wait, during the middle of this thing, I start twerk. Like, okay, just go with us.
Just go with it. Just show us what you got. Let's see how it works. Try ridiculous stuff. Ooh.
Max just can't let go. Almost like Eugene.
So here, Max looks down, Liz looks down, and they see a wad of gum.
If you notice earlier in the scene, after Max got the slushy thrown on him,
Seth spits out his gum. Right? Yeah, that's kind of his jerk move.
Mm-hmm.
That DeLorean, so killer.
Yeah.
We were considering all the different cars we could have in here. We're like, man,
it's got to be DeLorean.
We know it's got to be a DeLorean.
They are possessed.
They couldn't hack it. They couldn't beat the game in one
So they're
sitting.
basically, they're like the mini bosses of the game now.
Yeah.
A little more powerful than a regular Nether Spectre.
And they're close to the gaming world as
Dude,
aspiring
Highlight?
developers.
Scott wrote that in. I'm like, what the hell is Jai-Alai? And he's like, bro, just go with it.
Dude, I was trying to think what would the most ridiculous sport be to have at a tech school.
Yep. That sword actually lit up, and then obviously that's VFX on top of it, but so cool.
It's like a bargain basement lightsaber that just doesn't work.
Highlight.
That light modulation on their voice is killer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That kind of demonic.
Yep. It's subtle, but it's there. You know that they're not, fully human anymore. He's giving him a titty twister.
Please, there might be children in the room, Jeremy. Purple nurple, please. Oh, and a crotch punch.
Eugene's signature boom high score. Dude, this scene, man, the sun was coming up. Oh, man, this is like one take almost on everything. We rolled 2 cameras. We generally shot with one. Even though we shot close, we shot, medium. And everyone pretty much got 1 or 2 takes of it. And we just had to, we were rushing through the scene. But luckily, I don't think you can tell.
Yeah. Dude, having Francisco Orozco on Steadicam
yeah,
alongside you on
that helped
camera.
incredibly.
Yeah.
Saved my back throughout this whole thing. Dude, this scene, hilarious.
Yeah.
Greg ad-libbed this entire thing.
And this all plays into Eugene's character of kind of making it up as he goes,
Yeah.
always having an excuse,
Right.
always blaming it on something else.
Yep.
And then Greg's ad-lib.
It was actually a lot longer than this. We cut it down in the edit, but it was just gold, dude. It was,
I think we had him run, even though we were stressed for time, we're like, let's do one more. Just to see him ad-lib.
everyone else is just like, what is going on?
And that's the theme through this whole film, like you mentioned, not taking itself too
Yeah.
seriously, having what we hope are pretty intense, like,
Yeah.
oh, the stakes for the universe kind of moments, and then ridiculous tribal Zulu
And
chanting.
we told Jesse, hey, dude, give us some Jumanji music right here. So you hear those drums in the background. Again, it makes no sense, but it's hilarious to us.
Greg's so good.
I love those effects on his Jai.
Dude, his high lightsaber. I need one of those in my life.
We took inspiration from Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Kind of just,
Yeah.
I'll do this right here.
Oh, that reaction on
Yes,
Tom,
dude.
dude. And Liz is just like, huh.
I love Jesse. He's such a good dude. He's so funny in this.
Such a good actor.
Yes.
God, that effect is sick. Kind of a Wolverine.
Look at that real beard.
Yeah,
That is a
ooh.
real one.
Damn, Jesse, look at that beard. I'm hoping he listens to this commentary and
Oh, he
sends
will.
us a note. And on the van, you'll notice it's not a UPS, it's not a
yes.
FedEx, it's a FFS van.
If you don't know what that
For
means,
fuck's sake.
Google it.
Yeah. This scene was fun to do.
Oh, dude, this was really fun. We shot this months after principal production,
Yeah.
and used a bunch of our friends and drove around downtown Phoenix. And
Late at night, just no permits required.
That's right, guerrilla filmmaking at its finest. The Nethered World.
That's my little sister.
Yeah, we're trying to build the stakes of the film here, where you see a bunch of people that are affected.
That's my son. There's your brother. There's some dude
Some
on
random
a
dude.
skateboard.
The VFX artist?
Paul de Negres.
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah.
All the little eyeballs in the
Yep.
windows.
It's like at this point you really get it. Okay, this is bigger than
Gabe and
them.
Alex.
This is bigger than them. You know, this is. We said, hey Paul, make the Earth, make the Earth, and show us red Nether stuff
Show
around
us,
it.
yeah, show us the nether spreading.
Oh, dude.
Talk about comedic relief.
Oh, I was so excited that she said yes to this role.
Oh, growing up watching her, man, in movies like Kingpin and Something About Mary.
Legendary, and this is just so because the comedic gold in this, and I remember spending hours over this whole house scene.
Yeah.
Just getting, you know, we got a insane amount of amazing material from them, and just, you know, choosing the right
In the
pieces
edit, yeah.
and you know, hitting those comedic beats. Yeah, I took a lot of pride in this scene.
And Lynn Shay, man. You know, she's known now as like a horror movie
Yeah.
queen,
Uh-huh.
but she is a comedic freaking genius
Yeah.
too, which is such
She
a
was,
treat.
yeah, so much fun to work with. She was so incredibly sweet.
That little doll she holds in every scene,
Uh-huh.
she added that herself. It was just a little
Yep.
character touch. She's like, what if I have this little totem? I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, heck yeah.
The way Greg and her play together is
Yeah.
fantastic.
When we were writing this, I think I mentioned it to you. This was like the ridiculous, goofy, bizarre world version of like that scene in Goodfellas when Pesci and De Niro and Leota come in and Pesci's mom won't stop bothering him.
Yeah. She ad-libbed so many of these lines too. Is fantastic. She did her own research on different gaming
Yeah.
terminology and
That little PUBG reference there, right?
So good. Yeah. And Greg ad-libbed this Katarina line, which is
Katarina.
hilarious. Who?
And Liz, as usual, not buying a word of it. I think Lynn...
Dude, J.J. Abrams is in these photos.
Oh, yeah.
That's old Greg, and yeah, he gave us a bunch of pictures from his childhood.
Brought him from home,
Him and J.J. hanging out, and yeah, his son is in there. And
during this take, and I think you see it in the outtakes at the end of the movie, we had one mishap where the tray of meatballs got dumped all over the floor. Yep. It was funny.
Poor Jesse. Jesse Cove was not eating meat at this point. So in between all this, he's spitting it out into a cup. But he's a trooper, and he went with it.
He's committed. She brings
it's so awkward. I love it.
It's like a grave seriousness she brings to it.
And the reaction of the kids are just like, what is going on? What did we step into? Max.
Just no words.
Reggie's like, well, these are delicious, so.
Assie's face, dude. These schematics done up by our friend Russ. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Used a lot of references from old.
So this was written as Eugene's mom's basement, right? Because that's your mom's basement. That's the trope. But Arizona doesn't really have basements.
No,
so
man.
This is Eugene's mom's garage. Dude, talk about a nightmare, VFX-wise. All those screens were green. Oh, dude.
In a perfect world, you'd have all the assets prepared, but there's an order to that process, and it just dictated that it had to be done.
Yep.
Green screen.
Yep. So you're, it's like eliminating spill and cutting around their hair, and dude, God bless our VFX artists.
Yeah, they truly.
All the schematics of the blasters, so cool. But it's funny too. It's his mom's garage. It's pretty much a piece of crap, and he's sitting here thinking it's Wild Child 2.0, and he's in his grandeur.
There's garden tools and just Christmas decorations and crap sitting around him.
Oh, the callback to the original or the
You're the wizard
intro. And you'll notice coming up when they're doing their little hacking thing, we kind of played off the screen between them is like a Space Invaders Tetris-y kind of thing where it's like building and shooting, and it's almost like they're like hacking together, but also it's like a multiplayer, player one versus player two element going on.
Yeah, gamified hacking, if you will.
Yeah.
And we really see them side by side, literally.
The similarity.
It's just
the old dog, the young pup.
I love the shot through the screen too, seeing the code, very Matrix-esque. Yeah, kind of Galaga.
You see the little loading bar almost on top, with their progress. Steve's such a simple guy.
The sweet, simple giant. We like that shot so much, even though
we're mischief makers at heart.
Clear that he's not typing anything of substance.
Max just going at it alone again. Just Leroy Jenkins.
Dude, and transparently, like knowing this world pretty intimately, again, we knew consciously that if we were too serious with ourselves and with the verbiage and lingo and technical side of things, that we'd get ripped apart. So It's like, let's just shine a spotlight on how absurd this is. Reminds me of the movie Hackers back in the day.
The TIT, Technology Institute of Tomorrow.
That's right. That's a big tit.
It's a supple.
Sorry, Mom.
Calling it like it is. Max isn't very good at listening. Ooh. Digging deep. Round 2. Fight.
That's right.
It's so funny. It's like it's intentionally kind of kitschy.
Campy, yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, we wanted to make a movie that we wanted to watch. Really, that's all it came down to.
Oh, ridiculous leaps of logic, you know.
Fight.
It's interesting too because Max is hitting his sore spot,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also his, you know,
It's
him pulling
shining
back
light
the
on
veneer
himself too. Yeah.
and, on himself and his own hero is like
right.
not living up to his expectations. Don't meet your heroes, kids, so they say. Unless your hero is Kevin Smith, and it's just freaking awesome.
Dude, some of the outtakes on this are hilarious. You see him at the end of the film. Dude, that worked out so good. I remember when we were filming, we were like, how do we get close?
Yeah, because you don't ever want to risk the safety of your cast. You know, one slip and you're out production days, and you don't want them getting hurt, obviously. But
Yep.
that worked out great.
He's so dumb. Ooh, what is this?
Yeah, man. And this creature coming up, its design again inspired by one of the games we grew up playing, and took a lot of inspiration from it. Looks like one of the transparent demons in Doom,
Uh-huh.
the Nether Kraken.
Yeah, it took a lot figuring out what the Nether Kraken would look like and how we could actually pull it off and how big is it compared to a room and how does it act and
yeah, our animator on the VFX team, Joe Hunt, just stepped up to the plate and killed it, taking the model from the video game that the Terrasect guys created from scratch.
Yeah.
And rigged it and animated it, and here's what you have.
This was actually, I think, was it you or Brian Barrett, our AD, that was in this shot? Walking
that was me, yeah.
Was it you?
With the green ball and the stick?
Yeah, you had a green ball, and then that's how the chain's attached.
Yeah.
And then Paul had to roto you out.
Rotoed me out, and I think Joe and Paul created that chain digitally.
That's right.
And they re-added it in because
That's
it wasn't working perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our homemade sleep apnea
I was going to say, that is
mask.
definitely not how those usually work.
Indie filmmaking, kids.
This scene's pretty cool because we actually, if you watch when the creature runs down the hallway, the pictures fall off the wall.
Yeah, combining those practical effects with the CGI.
Yep.
That was cool.
Steve's going to use that broom and he's going to sweep the floor.
Sweep the floor. And I like that we, reworking dialogue, like right there with Lucas or Seth. Developers in a garage, kind of shining light on that production change.
We wanted to kill a character in this film to really raise the stakes, and Steve just had to go.
Steve sadly had
but
to go.
If you watch the credits, all is not lost.
That's right. Got a free life.
And so the idea here is if they get the email list, they'll be able to spread the virus, obviously to much more people since Eugene has been curating emails and watching players for the last 20 years.
And we've already established Eugene is, in his infinite weird engineering wisdom, able to make light blasters and lightsaber swords. So why not an EMP force vortex button?
Right, that could disrupt the Nether.
Because he understands it intimately,
There's a few throwback lines here, playing homage to fantastic films and actors.
Dude, Greg's delivery on this, like,
despair and
couple, yeah,
just almost no emotion, because it's like, I've
all
been
is
doing
lost.
this for so long. You just screwed everything up.
Yeah. Coupled with the score and just the undertones of it, it came together really nice.
Yep. But Max doesn't take no for an answer. In his mind, he's the hero, and he's going to make sure he follows through. This is also where Max really starts to internalize, and think about, he again runs off alone, but we wanted a moment where, his best friend can kind of talk sense into him, have a heart to heart, and really just bring him back, to earth. And
yeah, self-reflection, and then it is that Lord of the Rings Samwise moment where it's like,
you're not alone, you
Yeah.
know.
let us shoulder this with you.
Somehow he doesn't know how to start the car.
I mean, it's complex. Look at that thing. It looks...
Leap in logic.
I dare say this scene, one of my favorite, but one of the most touching, just because it's that classic buddy moment, man.
Yeah.
It is that Samwise moment we talked about. Where
Yeah, and it was really cool. We actually rented it was an Airbnb, and had those two guys stay in it together throughout the whole production, because we really wanted them, to facilitate a friendship, and they had a blast. They hung out a lot. They actually created the handshake they do in Fallout games early on. Actually, they do it here too.
Luckily, right? Because, I mean,
Yeah.
that could have gone horribly wrong
That's
if
true.
they didn't like each
That's
other.
true. So yeah, they made up their own handshake. I mean, they got to know each other really well.
They
and,
gamed a ton together.
and so you really see it here, where that helped and that came through. Like, how many conversations have you had with a friend where they kind of call you out, but they also encourage you and help you to see things that you didn't see about yourself, and those self-reflective moments where start to see Max become the hero.
Yeah, he's starting to realize there's got to be another way to do this, because every time I try going solo, it ends up in ruin. Funny enough, Reggie has a line coming up here that I'd like to say we were ahead of our times on it, because I just heard the new Mighty Ducks series has been greenlit.
That's hilarious.
Oh, and the new Top Gun movies.
See, I
coming
mean,
out.
we're just,
I know.
dude. Sheesh.
Listen,
Crystal ball. Who doesn't love the bat nips, right?
mm-hmm.
Fun fact about the FFS van: you had to start it with a screwdriver under the van. Someone had to get under there,
So it makes sense that Max couldn't start the truck.
and that thing got towed most of the time. The very few times it did run, it was super sketch. So
Making
Yeah.
movies.
it's
I think we like push rolled it into a few scenes.
we
dude.
did.
Oh, Max is finally getting it.
It really is absurd and weird. There's that handshake.
That should be on the box. Max Reload. A weird, absurd, epic quest.
I like it.
There you go.
Ooh,
One of our favorite
revelation.
legit arcade bars in
Downtown
downtown
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yep. Huge supporters of film and the arts.
Get a drink, play all kinds of retro arcade games. What can be better? And the introduction of Barton Grabowski, Joseph Reitman,
Oh,
another incredible actor.
the best.
And dude, to find a kid in the Arcade Hero segment, the flashback, that could, looks like him with the frizzy hair and
Mm-hmm.
some of the facial hair. Dude,
Yeah, Jacob.
what a find.
Was a referral from our co-producer Rachel,
Uh-huh.
right? And she just saw Joe's picture and was like, "I got a guy."
Mm-hmm.
And having like you know, I know everyone strokes everyone in these commentaries,
Sure.
right, all the time. That's like the thing. But legit, a profound character actor, like Joe and like Greg, having them in these scenes with some amazing up and coming talent that's just ahead of their game in so many ways, it elevates what otherwise could just be a ridiculous little film
Right.
to this level of
Especially Joe and
awesomeness.
Greg acting together.
Oh,
The chemistry
insane.
is so good. They're hilarious together.
And again, the scene, they're telling Barton all this stuff, and we're shining light back on the absurdity of the script, of the
Yeah.
story, of the whole narrative.
And similar to Liz, you know, he's kind of the pragmatic one that's going to play devil's advocate that says, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Uh-huh.
But he also has some of the Reggie in him where he really loved and looked up to Greg. So there's still a bit of that partner,
That hope, yeah.
hope. But at this point, you know, this is such a legend that, you know, so many people have come to him before and said, hey, you know, Nether dungeon, this or that, and he's just so sick of it.
Having his nose rubbed in the dirt, yeah.
He's so over it at this point. It's just like, dude, just take this off my hands and let me be done with this past. And now we get his side of the story.
Dude, and having that parallel between the perspectives on these flashbacks through animations, it's awesome.
And it's funny because neither of them are actually right, and eventually, but they don't want to know that, right? Their egos and, you know, their hurt feelings have just been keeping them apart all these years.
And they're missing that piece of knowledge that
Right.
will clear up everything. The game code.
Ooh, the original code, which is so old that it's on paper.
In a manila folder.
This is water, kids. This is not actually alcohol. Don't do this at home.
Good note. Because that's...
A health code violation. This was all ad lib too, right here.
Yeah, Joey and Tom just went on a
Yep.
tear. Yeah, Joe was well hydrated after
He
these
was
takes.
well hydrated. This is that comedic moment where it's like, unless the world's kind of burning down, I'm never going for it.
Yeah, man. I think
It's
we
like-
we kept talking about this as like our Ghostbusters moment.
Uh-huh.
You know, when they're fighting with the mayor and
And it's just kind of like, oh, it's obviously Friendly Fire Emblem outside.
it's time to get to work.
Yep. Resigned, childlike. Got the gang back together.
First time they've seen each other in decades.
As if he didn't know. And the kids are just like, ooh, this is interesting.
Tense moment.
Yep.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Yep. Liz is just like, this is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, she's vibing on it.
These are such fun scenes to film with, you know, the majority of the cast together.
Yeah, just watching them play off of each other
Mm-hmm.
and add their own touches.
Yeah. And it's fun to, you know, they get into it and they start ad-libbing and you're like, oh, that's perfect. And now you're shaping the scene on the day. It's just super collaborative.
The best stuff
Mhm.
came out of those moments, yeah.
He's still wearing his stupid overcoat with his light up. And the realization. You start to see their personality coming back together of, they're just bickering and fighting and all the inside information they have on each other. Got to interject some comedy into the seriousness.
And that's that right there is the vital part of the scene is they both have wanted this for decades but couldn't bring themselves together. It took this situation.
Mm-hmm. Max finally taking charge, doing the right thing. We actually filmed this at our production designer's home. She was gracious enough to donate the living room, the kitchen, the
displace
garage.
Her family for the better part of a week and turn this into Eugene's family home. Very generous. Thanks, Jen and family. Ooh.
The team. The realization. Ooh, you didn't see that coming.
That's right, Barton.
That is right. Oh, but we could.
Bum, bum, bum.
I like how Liz just automatically knows how to create these.
She became MacGyver, Lady MacGyver, just in that moment. Ooh.
Calling it like it is.
Oh, suiting up montage.
Yep. The lighting in the background. It's great.
One of our greatest joys, man, too, like writing the script and thinking about how cool and fun this would be, really revolved around the namesake premise, right? Nether blasters. Like, how can we use all these cool old peripherals as real world weapons?
So yeah, they're using Eugene's schematics to create these weapons off of his designs.
And
while those three are
together,
coding, the new feature into the game, and then they're gonna go to the old tit and upload it. Was this Jesse Mitchell's band that wrote this song?
Yeah, his band Hovenweep, man. Yeah. Him and his lead guitarist Michael, who was in a band with me growing up in high school, turned out this track for us, man. It's kind of that hard rockin'. Classic rock kind of vibe. I love this too. It's subtle, but the kids hop out. They're ready to kick butt. Joe and Greg kind of limp out of the...
That's a real lens flare right there.
Ooh.
Orion anamorphic lenses. Super rad. Shot on the red Scarlet.
Yeah, they took care of us on this picture, didn't they?
Yeah, man. It's a treat to use.
The Avengers have assembled.
Mm-hmm. The one and only jib shot in this film.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Thanks, Michael. Michael Sly coming through.
Dude, that was a big scene to light for a small movie with a, fairly small grip package.
Little shots like that make it feel big, man.
Yep.
That was the goal for
lighting
this
that
thing.
whole courtyard. I think our gaffer, Jason Sievers, replaced all those lights and made them blink and the, overhead lights and...
He sure did. Well, and that's the thing, too, when you look at all of the scenes in this flick that we really wanted to feel like studio big pictures, They
just can't stop bickering. It's like they never were apart.
No, they're still teenage. They're still 20-something game developers arguing over minutia. Ooh, the Nether's been here.
Going into the den.
I love that shot, dude.
Yeah, dude. A bunch of extras show up. Hey, guys, you're going to be Nether zombies.
Yeah. Most of them students at the school that we're at there from Arizona State University or SCC Film School.
Yep.
They're starting to get it.
Starting to get it. The old hero's journey.
But still a little discombobulated.
Read the sign, bro.
Dude, this rotating
dude.
shot.
We just had Francisco just cruise around on a Steadicam, had them spinning around trying to get that, super cool shot. And I think it turned out pretty awesome.
And dude, yeah, as far as a camera move combined with having to coach the extras on when to take hits and how they were pulling triggers, and then our VFX team trying to, make sense of it all. Like,
especially this one.
Boom.
It's like, okay, I think we'd had to do that 6 or 7 times, calling the hits on
the timing,
where you're going to fall, how you act. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy when the clock's running. You only have so much time each day, yeah. I want to go to a school with an esports arena.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of our friends over
eBlue. Yeah, we use their stadium. They basically sell esports studios essentially, and that was their showroom that we got to use. Super cool.
Yeah, what a treat to film there. It was hard not jumping on a console and playing some Overwatch. Ooh, the force pull.
Oof, he's magical.
Dick Lippert, the actor playing the Harbinger there, brings it. Just has that nefarious evil look down.
Yeah, we wanted to make the Harbinger like he's a bad guy, but he's a trickster, right? He's not just like pure evil. He wants to see the world burn or not, right?
He's malevolent, but there's like rules to the game he plays by. Yeah,
it's like even if he loses, he
honors that.
Yeah, it's like it still created chaos, right? This scene and those other scenes were actually filmed at 2 different universities.
Yeah, location and scheduling logistics.
Yep.
Made it necessary and it worked great. Such a tough guy.
The voice modulation is so cool. And he's not going to take that bait. He's a little too smart. His little cronies, though.
They've finally come into their own. They're empowered.
Do you see me pwn that noob? I think that was an ad-lib I had on the day, and I was like, dude, say this line. Not today, Greg.
All of his little mannerisms, man. Yep, and the idea through this whole scene is the team's obviously Eugene still uploading the code to enable the multiplayer feature, and they got 30 seconds left to make that happen.
Yeah, in the beginning when they all touch their ears, that's their super high-tech comms devices that they put in their ears. So,
yeah.
Now we can do whatever we want because they can communicate.
Yeah, that was a little trick that Greg shared
on
with
Alias,
us from
right?
Alias, yeah.
Lucas just taking it to the eyes.
Taking that blue lightning bolt. The shadow burn right here, dude, on the wall. Oh, in the shape of another Spectre. Boom, right under the clock, wearing it down. And the countdown clock obviously looked just like the old
This is a
school
throwback
join game
to
scenes.
how we used to play cartridge games by blowing in them when they didn't work.
Yep.
He blows on the gun.
Old NES games.
Dude, I thought he literally fell right here when I was filming this. And I was like, oh, I almost was like, are you okay?
A little pratfall.
Cut to, he's just screwing around.
You almost ruined the joke.
Yeah, I almost ruined it. Ooh, the team.
They're in the seats.
Working together. It was cool having the Harbinger basically say everything with facial expressions, with sound effects,
No easy task either, man.
Essentially, yeah, communicating silently is a very challenging thing to do, and I think it turned out really awesome.
Our actor Dick, yeah, he has such a strong physical presence.
And they thought they were just coming to play a game, and all of a sudden, ooh, well,
Sucked into
I
the
guess
game.
we're actually playing the game.
Be the hero in your own life, right?
That's right.
Dude, Reggie's beard is
Dude,
on point.
Joey had way too much fun playing that scene. He was so into character.
Yeah, he didn't get out of character the whole day.
These are foam LARPing weapons.
Yeah, fun fact, because they're set safe and they're foam, they were jiggly.
Yeah, little rubbery.
So our VFX team had to straighten in visual effects the weapons to make them look solider.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, you write a scene that just says there's a battle sequence and there's,
Yeah.
Dungeon Master and the fight scenes and torches and
Then you get into
and then
choreography
you get in there
with
and
a
you're like,
stunt professional.
oh my gosh. This is where Max becomes the hero.
We had an amazing stunt coordinator, Pepe.
Mhm.
She came onto the set and in under 6 hours had the entire
Yeah.
battle sequence you're about to see mapped out and kept everyone safe. Just amazing.
Max puts them first. He takes the back seat. He is learning.
Using that mage staff.
So cool.
And our dungeon master here is a direct representation of what we saw earlier in the 8-bit game, Nether Dungeon.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this basically mirrors, right, what you saw in the beginning. Reggie's the dwarf with the axe and the shield. Liz is the mage, and Max is the barbarian with the flaming sword. So the new game that they play, right, is kind of like a newer variation of the Nether series.
Yeah, looks like they used post-tension slabs in the ancient castle. That's good.
right.
It's good architecture.
This was actually a wedding venue. Remember that? Where we shot this?
For wizards?
No, this was a wedding venue.
Oh, yeah. That's what they
For wizards.
They primarily rented out.
That's where Harry Potter eventually got married.
To Hermione.
Dude, those torches literally would last about 35 seconds.
Yeah.
And so it was a huge pain in the butt.
Pain in the butt and safety concern.
Yeah, so then we ended up mostly doing digital in a lot of those scenes.
Yeah, digital fire.
Yeah. What a crazy film, too. I mean, they go into this game and they're barbarian characters and mages and it's like and ColecoVision and
Oh, yeah.
This is
We make no apologies either. It's like you said, this is a film that we would want to see now for ourselves, but especially I think we made this for our younger selves.
yeah, 100%.
That mask, a little inspiration from Willow too.
Yeah, yep. Get wrecked.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
They hath defeated the Nether Dungeon. And like an honorable trickster, he accepts it to come back another day.
That's right. Waiting for a new challenger now.
Just like the Nether Dungeon game, that's it. And the Nether recedes out into space.
It's going to go colonize Mars.
Max Reload 2 on Mars. I like it. Here's a blunder. Max was supposed to wear... Reggie was supposed to have a kilt. So this line... Well, yeah, we shot the scene before
Max
that.
kind of had a leather skirt.
So now
yeah.
Max had the kilt and
Yeah.
Reggie did not have a kilt. So if you were wondering why that line didn't make any sense.
Maybe Reggie was talking about Max's
That's
skirt
right.
looked freeing. There you go.
Ooh, their own jerseys now.
Boom.
What's up, Meta Threads?
Meta Threads. Dude, how cool is that? That
So, dude,
they collaborated with us making...
so cool. With some of the brands that sponsored the film on the back.
Yeah, a little shout out.
I mean, who better give him jerseys than the king of jerseys himself?
That's right. And we wanted this scene to be kind of like some of the, press room announcements like at E3 or PAX. Or,
Mm-hmm. James Kelly on the right, our BTS guy, making his little cameo.
That's right.
This is Kevin just completely ad-libbing. Originally, wasn't it supposed to be Japanese, and then the actor we got he spoke Korean, right?
Yes.
And so it changed to Korean in the script.
Yeah.
But those Koreans are freaking some of the best gamers in the world.
Dude, yeah, their esports teams are savage. Mischievous Max.
Max is just like, yes.
Hey, there's
it's Scott's sister.
Jess Condit. And she's a real life gamer journalist over at Engadget.
They're so daft.
Stupid humor, dude.
Stupidest humor. They're just that daft. And apparently he is too. Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He didn't actually say it, folks. We're still good on PG-13.
That's right. That's right. Thanks, MPAA.
It will change history.
That's right. Leaving it open for a sequel.
That's right.
Man, thank you guys if you sat through this whole director's commentary. It was fun watching it together, man, and reflecting on the journey that has been Max Reload all these years.
Absolutely. Support means everything. So if, you bought this or you're at a friend's house or, this or that, you've seen the movie, please tell a friend. It means the world to us to be able to do this and to bring entertainment like this to you guys. That's what we live for.
Yeah. And if you're interested in learning more about the movie and seeing more behind-the-scenes tidbits in full detail, we've been documenting the entire process over the last 2 years.
Yep.
And check out more info at maxreloadmovie.com.
Or socials, Max Reload Movie. Thanks, guys.